So welcome to today's session on what's new in ActivTrak and a sneak peek at what's coming. I'm not sure which thing I'm most excited about today, so I actually want to turn back to those poll results real quickly and see what y'all are most excited about. Okay. Oh, okay. Pretty close. Okay, so most excited about the productivity loss report. That's our sneak peek, by the way. So that's exciting to see. Also, activity alignment and time off and PTO identification, very close behind with 25% each. So super excited to see those things. And then we will cover the other things as well. But really great. Thanks so much for participating. That was great participation. I always really appreciate how active our audience is and engaged as we go through these sessions. So thanks so much for participating in that. And we will go ahead and move on truly over to our content. I did want to go ahead and introduce our speakers for today, Javier Aldrete, our Chief Product Officer, and Suzanne Carroll, a Senior Director of Product here at ActivTrak. I think if y'all want to come on camera, let's see. Hello. Hi.
Hello.
I think I said the last time that you two
Hello.
presented. You could not ask, this is to the audience, you could not ask for two better people to be on a session. If you have questions about this product, if you have questions about these features, if there are things that you might want, I'm just going to put that out there. These are the two people that you need to get in front of. So we welcome questions. We welcome, interactions behind in that Q&A. And all of that. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Javier to kick us off. And I can't wait to hear everything y'all are going to share.
Thank you, Megan. This is by far my most favorite type of webinars that we do because we get to talk a lot about our customers and what our customers need, what our customers ask for. And we really appreciate all your input, obviously your business and your input and your feedback because it helps us figure out what to build. And this is a quick high-level overview of the different signals that inform our product roadmap, right? Obviously, you all are able to submit enhancement requests through our product, as well as through our support team. And some of those enhancement requests come in the form of new ideas. Some come in the form of something that is really annoying for you or something that is hard for you to use. But we take all of those together with customer interviews. Those of you that participate in those, we love you. Thank you for your time and your patience and giving us feedback because that only helps us help you use this product better. We also analyze how people use our product, right? What capabilities, which features, how often, what type of roles. That's super helpful for us to understand that, as well as generally market trends, right? Depending on how the economy is or the adoption of certain technologies, AI, obviously a big thing out there. All those things help us understand where the market is going, where the needs of the market are going, and help us decide, hey, where should we invest more? Where should we add more capabilities? And we're very excited that we have a very innovative team that is always producing new capabilities at a very fast pace, and you get to see those through our product releases, through our product announcements, and certainly through this webinar. But first and foremost, we love these sessions because of you. Thank you for all your input into that, which is a good segue for the next slide, where we're going to ask if who else wants to be part of our customer research panel. This is a group of, I think we're close to 200 customers now that are continuously giving us feedback. They are opting in, if you will, to hear ideas that we have for them and give us feedback of them, or we show them sometimes designs. These different items have different research activities around them. But if you would like to help us improve ActivTrak for you, this is the place to join. This particular research panel will basically put you in a list where you'll find out everything that we're working on, but also you'll get to shape where we're going with your feedback.
Okay, we'll leave that open for another second, and then we're going to close it out in 5 seconds. So if you haven't responded and want to, please do so. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close that out. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Well, and with all of that input, I wanted to give you a quick summary of where we're going, especially in 2025. We're still early in the year, but I wanted to give you a high-level set of the prongs of our strategy for this year. And overall, what we're looking at is how do we help you all operationalize how you use ActiveTrak into your business processes, into your organization, so that it's more natural use into making decisions using it, making coaching determinations, helping your teams perform better, be more productive, etc. So the four big areas that we're focusing on are first, giving more visibility into your leaders, those that help you decide or fund the initiatives that are connected to ActiveTrak, and help determine, hey, where are the big inefficiencies? Where are the areas for improvement? Where are the opportunities? So those executives can help direct the organization. Where should we allocate resources and energy to go in and improve those things? And you'll see some of that in the form of our last demonstration here today, which is that productivity loss report. That is one of the features that we're aiming to provide executives with that holistic view at the org level. Where should I invest my energy on based on the findings and insights from ActiveTrak? The second one is, we know that you're always looking for more information to answer critical questions of everyday work, right? And those have to do with filling in the blank. For instance, PTO is one of our most requested items because that is an open area that unless you have an integration with HRIS through ActiveConnect, you may have some areas where that is missing, right? As an example. Others are looking for things on schedule adherence, which we'll demonstrate today, which is another piece of the puzzle that you need to tell us what your expected hours of work are so that we can help you identify how people are doing against that, as an example. But ultimately, all of this is to help us connect ActiveTrak with your business metrics and KPIs to demonstrate that value for you and help you run your business better. The third is building on the second one, but it gets into how do we embed ActiveTrak into your day-to-day operations through day in the live workflows. This is where the more we can get embedded into your own tools, the more we can embed into your processes, like hiring decisions, planning for headcount, schedule adherence, productivity, connection to outputs. All these are different ways in which people embed ActiveTrak in their business, and we need to keep investing in that to make it easier for you to do that. So it doesn't feel like there is a different application that I need to remember to log into. It's just embedded into how we do business. And then finally, for those of you that are on the administration side of ActiveTrak, we continuously have been investing in this for several years, and we will continue to do more, which is aimed at reducing the administrative effort so that you can set and forget, if you will, a lot of these pieces, so that ActiveTrak reflects how your organization is built, who reports to who has access to which pieces of information. We are aiming to even further automate that so that, again, the burden of administration is the minimum possible, and you can enjoy and get the value out of the insights without putting a lot of energy into the administration part. So those are the big four themes that you'll see from us through the year as we release these capabilities. And with that, I want to move to the next slide to give you an overview of what we're going to talk about today. So specifically, we're going to talk about two types of features that are available right now, right? Some of them very recently came out of the oven, like activity alignment, like schedule adherence, new capabilities. And the ActiveConnect BI Templates, we have been expanding that library of BI templates, and we're going to show you demonstrations on all of these, as well as some of the items that are coming soon, for which we're going to give you some sneak peek on how those are looking in terms of designs, in terms of prototypes, and they are time off PTO identification, as I mentioned, a very important aspect that people want to see and say, hey, this gap here in the day or in the week, is it because that person was out that day, as an example. RTO policy compliance and Essentials Plus, that's something that we have had in our professional plan, and now we're planning to add to Essentials Plus to help you get visibility into where people are working from, so that you can say, hey, are people complying with these rules that we made about coming to the office twice a week, as an example. And then last but not least, the productivity loss report, which was, according to your responses to the survey, the number one interesting one item for you coming to this webinar. So we're going to give you a sneak peek of what that is looking like based on a demo that we have prepared. So very exciting stuff. before I hand it over to Suzanne to do the demonstration, just give you a safe harbor statement, which is the functionality that you're about to see may change as we develop it, as we get it to GA, as we get it to early access, and the different milestones that we have in our cycle. So, in the timing sometimes changes. Sometimes we defer certain things. Sometimes we adjust based on your feedback. This is all fluid. So what you're going to see might not be exactly how it makes it into the product at the end of all said and done. So don't make decisions just solely on what you see today, because this is always a work in progress. So with that, Susanna, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Javier. Let's get into it. I'm going to go directly into the product and not slides because I don't know about you, but I always love seeing it directly in the app because I'm a visual learner as opposed to looking at a slide itself. So I'm going to pull up the product team here for activity alignment. Activity alignment is a feature that's now in GA. So everyone on the professional and premium accounts has access to it. And this is a feature that really enables managers to measure and maximize the time spent on high value activities that really drive business results. And the reason we've built this is because we've analyzed our customer data and we found that the top performers are spending 70 to 80% of their work time on core activities for their role. So this report here, what you're seeing is looking at our team, Javier and I's team, where you can see about half of our team here is fully aligned, meaning they are spending 70 to 80% of their time on those activities that are core to their roles and that will produce results. And we can continue to look at it as a manager at this team level and see how that's going. And you can see even down here, some of those who are not achieving their goals. You can see I'm right up at the top here. I'm considered misaligned, and the reason why is because my hours for the last week have been under my goal by about just under an hour. And in addition to that, I'm not spending the most time on those core activities. So both well below the goals there. Now, there's some circumstantial things that have been happening in the last week. So if you tell my boss, Javier, what's going on here, I'm sure he'll understand. But I'm going to pull up specifically my data in the users tab so you can see what it looks like. We typically advise to look at this data at 30 days or more so you get a more normal look at what's happening. This last week, in particular, I'm just showing so that way we can highlight some of the things and the functionality here and highlight the work, the misalignment for me. So when you're, as a manager, you're looking at activity alignment, you can see right away those that are in red who aren't spending the majority, that 70 to 80% of their time on core activities. And we are misaligned up here, the three of us. Now, if I clicked on this link, that will take you directly to an ActiveTrak Academy short video for the manager to see how do you coach somebody who's misaligned. The general guidance is one, you need to be spending more time working. And two, when you are working, focus on those core activities. I keep mentioning these core activities, so let's take a look at what those are. For my role as a product manager, I need to be spending time in the core activities. So Zoom meetings, just like this one, that's adding to my time, but primarily Google Docs in the app itself. This is one of our additional versions of staging environment of our app, calendar, all of these activities directly align to my performance and meeting my goals. But these over here, these non-core activities, in particular Slack, is yes, it's productive. All of these non-core activities are productive and they are related to business activities, but they're not the most effective place where I should be spending my time. That should be limited to the 20 to 30% of the time there. So we can break it down on those activities to minimize, activities to maximize, and also see the amount of time I'm spending there. And you could see over here by hour of day where I keep going back into Slack throughout the entire day, where I should be more focused on things like these core activities that have higher value for my role. So that's a quick demo on activity alignment. The next thing that I wanted to highlight within the app, and we'll go back to the slides in a minute, and you'll get those as well after the
Hey, Suzanne,
webinar. Yeah.
we had a quick question about who chooses what counts for core activities.
Oh, good
And
question.
those activities automatically get populated based on what people are working on, or does the admin have to identify those core activities? So I think those kind of go well together.
Sure. Javier, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I can. Great question. So, two parts of the story. First is, remember, this is all within productive time. So first and foremost, we build this on top of our classification system that allows you to define productive versus unproductive time. And then within that, there is also the notion of categories of work or categories of activity, which is things like sales tools will get put into one category, things like support tools will be put into another category. And we build on both of those things to, in this configuration screen, by team, you are able to specify what are the categories that are considered core or high value for that particular role or team. Now, our general best practice recommendation is to go as narrow as possible with this concept of primary team, which is here because you could belong to multiple groups. And in this one, is pick the team or group that is closest to the role that you want to configure this feature for, and then go and pick the categories that are considered high value for that role. Here, we don't recommend picking the highest duration categories because those would be a self-fulfilling prophecy sometimes. For instance, MS Teams might take 40% of somebody's day, but that might not be the most productive or high value activity for that person. It might be a valid business reason to work on that, but we want to right size it. As an example, for us, it's Slack, right? But for some others, it might be Microsoft Teams. But the same goes for any category. So if you have a support team, you want to maximize time on support tools. If you want sales teams, you want to maximize their time on sales and prospecting and customer research, and not so much on internal meetings or internal chat and messaging because you want them talking to customers. I'm giving you some examples, and we have codified a lot of those things through templates in this configuration wizard, which allows you to say, hey, based on a template, I want to pick what is the default configuration for that role. So you get to choose from around 40 different roles that we have in this templates. And then further, you can override those templates and get a little more granular through the interface that Suzanne is showing here, where you can pick specific categories. But the heart of all of this is pick things that are considered high value and core to the job, hence the name core activities. And B, resist the urge of picking those that are highly popular, but not necessarily high value or busy work, administrative work, because what we want is to not just replicate what they're doing, but really figure out what is the right goal and target of what they should be doing in terms of high value, and right size everything else, right? Or minimize everything else. And that's what this dashboard will do for you. I would encourage you to play this. This just became GA last week, and it has it's available for all the professional and premium plans, and it allows you to again pick in bulk, to pick from templates by role, or to just manually configure this one by one. All of the choices are there. The who was the other part of the question, and sorry for my long-winded answer, but it's usually a combination of what we have seen is a combination of managers working with the admins or managers working with an HR person that help decide that, because usually the managers know best what is the high value activities versus low, unless you have a very well-defined job description that spells that out, right? In which case you can do that. So part of the reason behind some of our bulk capabilities to configuration here is that admins can pass that over to managers to help them create those configurations and then upload them into the product. Sorry for the long answer.
I liked it. That's good details there. All right, so I think you've answered a couple of questions that have come in, which is great. Keep those questions coming in and we'll try to answer them as we're going through it. And if we don't get to it, We will answer those towards the end, or we can follow up with you after the hour is up. Okay, so we're going to move away from activity alignment, more into our return to office compliance. So as of now, we have location throughout the professional and premium accounts, and we can predict where, not predict, we can show you where your employees have been working. I'm going to change this to a different date so I can show you all of the different options of when people are in office. And now with our Essentials Plus plan, we will be adding this location column to all of the different areas within live reports that currently show for premium and professional. So right now I'm showing you working hours. It's showing 1 day per user, and 1 line per each user day combo. So you can see, for example, on the 20th of February, Javier was both in the office and working remote, more of a hybrid situation for that day. And you can see those hours. A lot of our customers are using this data to understand, are people complying with the return to office mandates, where they are going back into the office, say 3 days a week. And you can see for every single day here, both in the working hours report, our new schedule adherence report, as well as top users and productivity, you can see, okay, this user, Suzanne, on the 20th was in the office and she was there for just about 5.5 hours, as well as a little bit of offline meetings time. So introducing that into that Essentials Plus plan is giving those customers who are really focused on understanding how their employees are working, really having that visibility into where they are working is just going to enhance their capabilities, without going into all of the details, the trends, the long-term data that we have available for professional customers, for those who are looking to plan with that information. That's what it will look like. And again, this is in working hours. It's also within our live report of schedule adherence, top users, and productivity. So it's these top 5 reports, the most popular reports for live reports, will show that location. And this is going to work just like it does within our upper plans, where we don't do it for the day of. Like if I was to show you today's information, it's not going to show that I'm in the office today and Javier's working from home, but rather we'll bring it in the following day due to how our AI does that analysis. All right, I don't see any questions. Oh, there's one question coming in. Oh, the question is, will we have visibility to how much time was spent in office versus remotely compared to all within the same day? No, it's just looking at the full day. So you do see here where it says Omri and even Javier have office remote for that particular day. So that's showing that just like Javier's doing today, he's working at home and then typically comes in after webinars into the office for the rest of the day. So it's showing both of those. But we do it at the day level, but not the hour level. Good question. And then we had
But
another, go ahead.
yeah, sorry, Susan, to interrupt. But one thing is, please submit that as a request, because if that is something
Mm,
that you need and you can tell us why, we will probably consider that as an enhancement to get a more
absolutely.
granular information over to you, and get a little bit more of that breakdown. It's not the first time I have personally heard that one. So if you can submit those enhancement requests, it helps us understand how much demand there is for that, so we can prioritize it.
And for
Exactly. Yeah.
this, Javier, where should they submit those product requests to?
Right
Yeah,
here. You can go into help and then feature requests, and you could submit your idea right here. Tell us what you'd like. And you can add your email address if you'd like. The other way to do it is send an email to ideas at activetrack.com, and we will get that directly in the same system.
Amazing.
yeah. There is a question of how the location is calculated. Let me build on that. We have 2 methods to
Mhm.
calculate, and they can build on each other. You can do them mutually exclusive. One is we define that based on your networking activity. So we're able to see who or where you're connecting with via Wi-Fi or IP address or combination thereof. And so we have an AI algorithm that is able to determine when people are clustered around the same network, which usually tells us that they're co-located when they're working. And so that's one method. The other method is you can explicitly tell us the ranges of IP addresses that you consider office versus VPN. And you don't need to tell us your home office IP address. All we need to know is what is considered an office or a VPN for you, and then from there we can derive everything else. And so you have both two methods, and you can choose to do one or the other, or do them in tandem. And that is how we do that location determination.
Exactly. We had a question about why Rebecca and Sarah are showing no location right there. Frankly, that's because they weren't working that day. Rebecca's a new hire, and Sarah had that day off. So you can also see that they don't have any digital time coming in or offline meetings. So we're not going to put a location there if we don't know where they were because they don't have any digital activity coming through, which makes a lot of sense. We had another question about enhancing this so we can see how much time is remote and how much time is in the office by day, week, month. All of that is available within our upper plans. So the professional and the premium accounts have access to more longer trend analysis. You can always export this. You can always use ActiveConnect as well if you're an Essentials Plus customer to see that detail. Great question. Okay. So, unless there's more questions about location, we're going to go into our new schedule adherence capabilities. You can see as it shows here on that it's now in EA. I'm going to go right over here to my other tab to show it. It's in early access. So this is a new report. It looks very similar to what I was showing with working hours, where you can have one user per day per line. But the difference is here we are now showing the ability to enter in the time of how people are they're expected to work as their schedule. So I'm going to change this from 10 to 4 to represent more of our core hours for our organization. And it automatically recalculates that information down below. And you can see, for example, Amani, one of our UX researchers, her time between 10 and 4 is a little bit less. Now, Amani is working on East Coast time as opposed to a lot of the other ones are working within Central time, so that makes sense. Um, Only within those scheduled hours from 10 to 4, she has that 4 hours and 2 minutes. And so she was meeting 73% of her productivity goal for the day. She started a little bit earlier, so she doesn't have that late start there. But she did end almost 20 minutes early from 4 p.m. for that day, for yesterday. And then you can see her total work time. So this productive time is within the scheduled hours, and this total work time is a new calculation. So we used to have total time in a lot of these reports. We're starting to introduce total work time, which includes your productive work for that day, any offline meetings that are detected, and any time off. Right now, I'm looking at the summary view. So it's just a high level look at some of these data points, the most used data points, really. If I go into detailed view, you can start to get even more information. So I can see, all right, looks like Amani started at 8:38 that morning. That makes sense that she was starting a little bit early, given that she's on East Coast time. And I can also see, okay, she had 8 minutes of productive time outside of that 10 to 4 that we have here. I can see screen time, which is the new name for total time. This is calculating the productive, unproductive, and undefined all together, just the amount of time that they are on their computer per day. Little sneak peek of where time off is going to be, and then that total work time again, including all of those data points. So this is the new report for schedule adherence. You can do all the great things of exporting, using it, customizing all of the columns per that summary and detailed view. But we have a few more places in the app where we're showing this information. So again, in live reports, so you can see it right away. We are going to go over here to our top users report, and you can see it looks a little bit different. We've updated the look and feel, but it's all the same information that you had before. So for these days, this report is different from schedule adherence and working hours, where it's accumulating multiple days of time as opposed to just 1 day per user per time. So now we're seeing Javier, or let's look at Amani. We're seeing her total time over these 2 days of work. And you can see all of that information. We've got that total work time here again, and starting to see all of that great data. Now, if I take a look at Javier, so we have this 9 to 5 schedule between the different reports. You can see that he started before 9 a.m. He started right around 7:30 on the 10th, and had a little break. That makes sense. He started really early and then had some time afterwards as an offline meeting. So he took a call from, but wasn't on his computer at that time. So this visual representation of the schedule makes it really easy for managers to see how people are working within the limits of that schedule, either whether it's a strict shift because you have a customer service team who needs to be online responding to customers, or it's more core hours like what we do here at ActiveTrak. You can see how people are adhering to that expectation of when they should be working. You can see my time for this week, where one morning I missed the mark. I didn't quite start at 9, but definitely went over a little bit to make sure getting in that full productive time that is necessary for my role. You can also see I had a little bit of an offline meeting there, and all of that great information. Now, it does look a little different, and there's a few changes in here that we don't have and outside of early access. If I go up here, I'm going to bring in all of our users so we can do a little bit of a search, and I can show you. We now have a search functionality within here, so you can quickly go and see everybody who matches that string. This is especially helpful with our larger customers who have tons of teams, and they're naming those teams by the manager, by the location, or maybe a division. You can quickly search for everybody in Omaha, for example, and that'll bring up all of those teams. And you'll see all of that information really quickly, and then be able to dive into the data itself. And we also now have the ability to select which columns you want to see. Given we're changing total time to screen time, and we have total work time, you can now customize this report however you'd like to show just the data that you need to see on a regular basis, and have that functionality for your needs, whether you're customizing the summary view or the detailed view, that'll work. Um,
Excuse
Same
me.
thing. Oh,
We have
mhm.
one question just on
Yeah,
clarification for schedule start time and end time. Is that looking at the account time or the activity time? So like if someone is working in Eastern
great
time, like
question.
Bonnie, for example, but the account is in Pacific time, what is that time taking into account?
So as of right now, this is all looking at the account time itself. So our account time is in Central because the majority of our staff are here in Central Standard Time. And so that's what we're seeing here. Next quarter, we are starting to look at introducing all of the employees' activity time, and then normalizing that within this visualization and anywhere else where we're showing time of day. So we'll be able to see some of those who are in different time zones, normalized to that regular 9 to 5 time, or whatever your working hours are. Great question.
Yeah, that's a very common question we have heard, which is show me the ability to not only do it through the account time zone, but the local time zone or the employee time zone. And that's what Suzanne is speaking about, that it's coming Q3, Q4 is when we're going to bring this to the product, because it's a very commonly requested item.
Absolutely. Yes. So these are the first few features that we are introducing for schedule adherence. But throughout this year, we are going to continue to add on more and more. So you can see where you know that people are expected to work or when you know they're not expected to work, and give you more and more data within these live reports. And then finally introducing it also into those upper plan reports within Insights as well. But we're starting with the lowest common denominator here and then validating it and adding more and more. So those are showing us the schedule adherence features that are available in early access now. We have a few thousand accounts that are in early access. If you're not seeing these features in your account, you don't see this particular report in your live reports list, let us know, and you'd like to have it, let us know and we can turn it on for you to see that early access there, um, and get access to these and give us feedback on what you like about it and how you'd like it to improve. We'd be happy to add you to our early access users so you can get that feedback. So let's see, I'm going to go back into the slides because now we're going to get into some of the things that I can't demo yet because they're not quite available within the app. But speaking of those schedule adherence features that we're adding, one of the next ones we're doing is giving notifications to managers or leaders or even admins in their flow of work. So not making people come into the reports and really analyze the data, but giving it to them where they're already working, whether that's Slack or Microsoft Teams. You can allow the definition of those work schedules, not just entering it in on the report 9 to 5 or whatever the shift or the schedule is, but configure a schedule within the app for the teams that adhere to it, and then send these proactive alerts if you have team members who have started late, or those who have left their shift early, or maybe they didn't meet their productivity target for that particular schedule. And this sort of proactive in alerts and notifications is going to make it so much easier to make sure that your shift workers or those that are supporting people in a certain amount of time are there doing the work. So that way it's not pushed onto other team members who have to pick up the slack, or there are long delays for your customers' needs. Or any other type of demands of why we have those shift works. So this one will be available in all of the plans, and we are working on it now. So we expect beta to come out fairly soon, and then early access as well within the next few months. So let us know if you're interested in this one and want those notifications to come proactively, and we can get you in on the early access, or bring you in once we have it available generally.
And just to let
All
you know,
right.
later on, we will have a poll where you can actually let us know if you do want to be on the wait list. So there will be an opportunity to just click a button in a few
Yeah,
minutes.
absolutely. Okay, I'm going to move on from that one into a very popular request that we've had for years now, which is this ability to show time off or PTO directly in line with all of the employees' digital data. So this is very similar to offline meetings, where we are ingesting information from your different systems, the HR systems, the where you are keeping that time off data, and then showing it alongside all of the users' digital data and any offline meetings if that is integrated. So you can see here in a quick screenshot of how it will look within working hours. This will also be available in schedule adherence for this initial release. And what it's doing is integrating all the different kinds of leave, whether that's paid time off or annual leave, company holidays, any sick time that has been added, and it'll bring it directly into the platform. And so that way you could see those expected days or hours off alongside all of this digital information. So you can see, Daniel, one of our staff members had several days where he just had half days. So 4 hours of work per day as time off in our systems. And then you can see that on his last day of work, on the 28th, our last day of time off, he also had just 5 minutes of digital time. But these other days, he added quite a bit of 2 to 3.5 hours per day. So you can see the accumulation here of productive time, the full screen time that he spent. So each of these days, mostly it was all productive time, but a couple of them, there's a minute or two of unproductive, or this one had about 10 minutes of unproductive or undefined time shown in that screen time column. We have those 4 hours here for each one of them. And then you can see the accumulation and that total work time that's combining his productive time, any offline meetings. He didn't have any for that day, those days, and time off. And we'll accumulate all of that to bring it up to his total expected work. Uh, so all of this, we're currently testing this and we're in a beta phase for customers who have Workday. We're going to be adding 5 additional HR PTO systems in the next few months, starting with the next one we'll be adding is Bamboo. So if you are interested in this feature, and you're in Workday, let us know right away. We can help integrate and start to get this data into your account very quickly. If you're interested in Bamboo, we'll put you on that list, or any other system that you want to integrate for PTO data, let us know, and we can enable that and work through it. And so that way you can see these time off metrics in conjunction with that digital work data. All right, so this is a summary of what I just said. Workday is available now. We are working on a number of other ones throughout 2025. You can see a few people have been asking for ADP. I also see requests for Bamboo in those questions. We're on it, those are coming. And these are the ones that we've identified so far, but there are many that we can add. So let us know what you're interested in. You can do that either in at the end of this webinar with the survey that we have, or in that what we were showing you before, the feature requests in app or at ideas@activetrack.com. I'm seeing tons of people asking for Paylocity. That's a great one. We also use Paylocity. So let us know. Keep giving that. A rise is another one of several people are mentioning. Thank you guys for sharing with us what that is. We are going to be integrating this right now in Q2, so starting in April, and then we will be adding additional HR systems throughout those 3 months of Q2, and continue adding them all, as many as we can by the end of the year. All
Yeah,
right.
one thing that I'll add here, just so that everybody understands how this works, we are working on a very highly scalable way to do a lot of integrations fast, and that's why we're very excited to share all these logos so that we're going to be doing this integration for. But the other thing that I wanted to just caveat is some of the systems that you may have require some APIs to expose to
Mhm.
us to be able to do it. So be patient with us as we explain which ones are coming out and which ones may come later, given those systems expose. Sometimes we're at the mercy of what those systems do. But an approach that we're going to be following to give you a catch-all option is we're going to be adding the ability to give us a file transfer, so that if
Mhm.
your system doesn't have the right integration abilities or APIs, you're going to be able to export that into a file that we can take on that file over as a way to be more universal for you in this area, because we want to get as many as possible, even if those systems that you work on don't have those integrations.
Exactly. Yeah. Or some people don't even have a system for their PTO or their time off. So if you're already tracking it elsewhere manually, then we can just put it in that file, upload, and bring it in.
Yep.
Excited to see all this interest and enthusiasm for this time off data. It's exactly what we were hoping for, and we're working really hard on this one. Okay. Javier, on to you.
Yeah, yeah. Before you stop presenting, just to give you an overview before I do the demo, the first item that I'm going to cover just to wrap up our presentation here is a couple of demonstrations on our ActiveConnect BI Templates. So we have had ActiveConnect now for several years, and we have been building more and more templates to our library. And these templates are meant to help you get up and running really quick on a very specific use case that you may have, right? So in addition to whether we support Power BI or Tableau or Google Data Studio or Looker, the answer is yes, you can do all of them with ActiveConnect. But these are meant to be your accelerators. Hey, how do I get 90% of the functionality that I want turnkey? And then from there, I can go and customize my own reporting. And you can see some examples here. The first one is the one that we launched at the very beginning of ActiveConnect, which is a replica of what we have in the web application, right? So all the greatest hits that Suzanne has been demoing here, you get those into those templates. But then we have others that are more specific use cases like schedule adherence, which I'll demo in a minute, potential false activity analysis and in pattern and trends. That's another one that some of our customers get some of this in app through the risk level report, but if they want more and more deeper analysis, they can use that template. Sales productivity, customer service, headcount planning, which uses a lot of the utilization data to do that, as well as even license usage. Who is using the licenses that I'm paying for? So I don't want to steal my own thunder, but I just wanted to tell you that this library is already pretty extensive, as you can see here, and it's going to keep growing as you give us more use cases and we put it in our library for you to start from there. With that, I'm going to start presenting here. Let's see. Hopefully you can see my screen now. All right. So I'm going to give you a few demos of 3 of these templates.
Javier,
Go
before you
ahead.
jump in, we did have a question
Sure.
just to kind of set the stage. How do you get to these templates?
Great question. So first is you need to have ActiveConnect, an add-on, which is you can purchase that on top of any of our plans. So if you have Advanced, Essentials, Professional, Premium, it doesn't matter. You can build or buy that add-on. And that add-on gives you access to both our APIs as well as our data warehousing capability that allows any BI tool to access your same data, but through a BI interface. So once you purchase that add-on, you can go into our product and download these templates from the actual product interface under the integrations tab. If you cannot find what you're looking for, you can always ask our support team and they'll give you the link to download your template or your starter kit. So that would be the method to get ActiveConnect and then go and download the template.
Got it. From the left-hand nav, the integrations tab, click on that and that's where you can get it. Perfect.
That's correct. That's correct.
Thank you.
All right. Now, with that, let me give you a couple of quick demos just in the interest of time since we only have 11 minutes left. Thank you for all the questions. We love when the meetings go like this because we get to have a dialogue rather than, than just presenting. So this is an example that builds on what Suzanne was showing you. So Suzanne showed you what schedule adherence early access feature looks in our web application that many of you have already access to because it's available in all plans. And the only caveat is that we haven't made it available to everybody. It's only 2,000 customers, but if you want in, you can raise your hand. But if you want more advanced analysis, trend analysis, easier way to do any particular part of the use case, then you can use this template, which as you can see, I'm just giving you a quick glance at it. You can do things like aggregate. Hey, how many of my users have not met the goals, have met the goals? How many have been late to a shift or departed early? So very quickly parse through all those rows in the schedule adherence report and just give me some quick stats at the bubble up level, as well as looking at trends of that schedule adherence, averages, start and end day, break time, etc. List of late start, early end. So these are different ways to consume that same information that Suzanne showed you that you can certainly export to Excel and do more with that, but in a way that is tailored to your business case or your business process. So if you need supervisors to see this on a weekly or monthly basis because they use this to have performance conversations, or this is tied to bonus structure, et cetera, you can use this report to quickly get to some of those summary statistics. And this is one of the value here that from here you can take it and do even further custom reports. You can do drills. In this particular case, we have different versions of the report. One is higher level. This one starts getting into specific individuals with a lot of the metrics. So you can pick and choose what of this different library you want to pick from schedule adherence perspective, right? So you can see how this builds into what we do in the web application out of the box. So that's one use case, one of the different libraries that I show you. Second one is customer service. This is the scenario where our customers say, you know what, great, ActiveTrak helped me identify and measure the input, the activity, but I want to correlate that with outputs. When they're working hard, are they getting better results? When they're working less, are they getting low quality results? Are they processing the number of widgets? I'm going to use generically that they need to be processing. And so this is what allows you to bring inputs and outputs together, right? Measures of results, measures of activity. And in this case, you're seeing how we're correlating number of cases that a particular support person or customer service organization is looking at versus the average productive time per day that they're having. So you can see where people are in this spectrum and be able to correlate, well, for instance, Justin here has a lot of solved tickets, a lot of throughput, great, but maybe the CSAT score, the quality of those resolving of those cases is not what we wanted. How do we help that person and coach them to say, you know what, maybe you need to slow down a little bit to give better service and have a higher CSAT score from your customers, even if your throughput decreases a little bit. And where is the lack of enough activity causing some of these scenarios, right? So again, this is just an example. We also have drill downs into individual people where you can drill into the details of how they're working, what types of tools and categories they're working on, et cetera, et cetera. But the aim here is to bring another element. It's a data integration story. It's inputs and outputs together to help manage your teams to higher performance. The third use case I want to show you is that of technology usage and technology license optimization. This is where you're saying, okay, well, we're spending a lot of money on a number of tools, right? Salesforce is expensive, Zendesk is expensive, right? We all have these different tools. Are we using them? Are my teams using these tools for the purpose that they were meant to be used? And where do we have gaps where, yeah, we train people, they used it once and then never again? Or maybe they use it once every 3 months just when somebody asks for something. And this allows you to very quickly say, okay, what is the application I want to analyze? And you can pick for a number of applications that you want to see here. Here we configure for Google, Intercom, Slack, Zendesk. How many licenses do we have? And for that, you give us basically a file with the list of licenses and their cost. And then we correlate that with usage from the ActiveTrak data. And we're able to tell you, okay, well, from those 27 licenses, how many people are using in total? Who is active recently? 13 people only. And what is the potential savings that we would get if we reclaim those licenses that are not being utilized, right? And this is a very great tool that CTOs, CIOs like, and even CFOs like when they're going up for renewal with some of these vendors and say, you know what, I'm going to reclaim those licenses and either give them to somebody else, or I'm going to reduce my contract size next time I renew with this particular vendor so I can save money and reallocate that money somewhere else, right? So that's another one where we get a lot of our customers saying, I made so much more, I made or save a lot of money just on month 3 of ActiveTrak just by doing this use case. Even if it's not always the case that you bought the ActiveTrak for this particular use case from the get-go, a lot of people see a very quick ROI through this capability. Again, something that you have the data for in the tool, but with this capability, you're able to, again, correlate 2 pieces of data, the license counts and their cost, with the usage of them so that you can find these savings opportunities. And I'll leave you with one more thing before I jump into the productivity loss report, which is in our integrations page, activetrak.com/product/integrations, you can see all these different templates and the descriptions of them. So if you're interested in learning more, you can see the screenshots, you can see the descriptions of them if you want to explore that, and you can obviously contact our team to go and purchase these.
And we will make sure to include that link in that follow-up email that we will send by tomorrow. That'll have the recording, the slides, and all of that. So no worries, we have you covered on that.
All right. Thank you, Megan. All right. Last 3 minutes before I hand it back to Megan, just going to give you a sneak peek on a capability that is coming in Q2 that is a new concept. And this new concept is the idea of giving a tool for leaders, for executives, to identify where there are underutilization happening in the organization that can help inform staffing strategy, that can help inform reallocation of people from one team to the other, and that can help you make decisions of hiring. Because if you might be getting requests for teams that maybe they have capacity and they're just not getting enough work. And so this report, what it does is it looks at the utilization of all the employees on different departments, and then rolls them up compared against their goals, right? So you might set a goal of 6 hours, 7 hours, 7.5, 8, etc. And so we compare actual versus their goal, and then we add up all those gaps when there are gaps on different teams. Some people might be working only 5 hours here, 5.5 there, 4, etc. And then we roll it up by department so that the leaders, the CXO level, can see, okay, which departments have significant underutilization. In this case, the sales team has 131 team members that are under their goal, and 43 of them have been repeatedly under that goal more than once. And that represents 31 FTEs, right? That is equivalent of 31 people, right? So the goal here is to help inform the sales leader, hey, you need to go and figure out how to make use of this utilization because you're paying salary and not getting in return what you're expecting out of them. And certainly the CFO would like to know, hey, if a sales request for a new hire comes in, I'm going to say no because they first need to go and utilize this 31 equivalent of 31 employees before we go and do that. We further translate that to dollars in terms of salary waste or salary underutilized by looking at that FTE versus a average salary that you can input in here so that you can make that calculation. Now, this is a very quick way to look at where the gaps are, look which departments don't have underutilization, which departments do, and based on that make decisions, but also look at how many employees are below a significant low number. Like in this case, 33 employees are below 4 hours per day, right? Or people that go to the office have more underutilization than people that are hybrid or people that are remote, right? So this very quickly gets you all the quick answers at the exec level that can help direct initiatives in your company of how do we go and capture these inefficiencies or address these inefficiencies by directing resources to higher utilization. Okay, so more to come here in the next few weeks and months as we start rolling this out for an early access and then GA. But just wanted to give you a sneak peek into this concept that we have gotten a lot of requests from the C-suite, from the leadership side of our customer base saying, help me get a map of where I should invest my energy to go and capture this underutilization scenarios. Okay.
Absolutely.
I know we went a little long. Sorry, Megan. Take us home.
No, I mean, listen, we had really great questions coming in, and so I think that is great. And thank you to everyone for, staying with us. Real quick question for you. I know I asked at the top of the hour at the very beginning, what you were most excited about going into the session. I'm curious if Javier and Suzanne changed your minds about anything. I'd love to know if they're as convincing as I think they are, but this will be the test for sure. So I'll go ahead and let you, go ahead and chime in here. Suzanne, if we could go ahead and go to the next slide. I just want to quickly just mention this slide here for reference. So all of these different features are tied to some of our different plans and they have different availability. I don't want you to have to remember everything. So we put this in this slide so that you have this as a reference. We will send these slides out to you so that you have them. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to close this poll out. All right. Ooh, I see people. They didn't want me to close it out quite yet. Okay. Let's see where we're at. Okay. All right. It looks like, okay. All right. People are still the most excited about the productivity loss report with activity alignment and the time off. But I did see improvement in some of these other ones. So great job, y'all. You can keep your jobs. I don't know if I get to make that decision, but good news.
Thanks, Megan.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you, Megan.
welcome.
Really
That's
appreciate that.
great. Okay. All right. Well, thanks to everyone for joining us. I did have one final poll. I did mention that we are, you can actually submit if you'd like to get added to that schedule adherence waitlist. This is your opportunity. This is the poll to weigh in on that. Also, just, one, if you'd like a demo of the ActivTrak platform, if you have been thinking about it and some of these things just really appeal to you or other things that we didn't cover, I invite you to go ahead and chime in here on that. or those ActiveConnect BI templates. I think those are incredible, and they really can, extend the use of the product. So I encourage you to get a demo of that one-on-one so you can really dive into how it could help your org and really solve some of those challenges that you're trying to face. And then also, if you're a customer and you just really need someone from your account team to follow up because you have specific questions or something else, please let us know and we'll make sure that that gets over to your account team and they will follow up. So thank you so much. Again, next week we have another session, customer interview live with the EVP from Echo Global Logistics. It is going to be an awesome session. So please, please, please come join me next week. And thanks to Javier and Suzanne for today. Great session. Thanks to the audience. Great participation. And I will see you next week.